Thank you to Jody Lowen for inviting me to speak to the Mount Tamalpais College graduating class of 2026. Congratulations to all of the graduates. And I hope you are smiling from ear to ear, completing a multi-year investment. For wanting to become more, for wanting to do something different. And I know it wasn't easy, but you stayed focused on achieving your AA degree. I have sat where you are sitting right now. I graduated way back in 2007. And I was sitting on that side, I believe. I can't remember now. But back in 2007, when Mount Tamalpais College was the Prison University Project, and San Quentin Rehabilitation Center was just San Quentin State Prison. Prison is changing at a glacier pace, but it is changing. Which brings us back to you. You have changed, and you will be a student for the rest of your life, but you will also be a teacher. When Jody asked me if I would be interested in giving a speech, as I said yes, I was thinking to myself, why me? What do I have to offer? Am I supposed to talk about and endorse seeking even higher education? Am I expected to tell you how great my life was after receiving my Associate of Arts degree and that it gave me all of the answers I needed to succeed in life? Am I supposed to give you a roadmap to live your best life? What is the expectation? A couple of weeks after that, I started to write some stuff down, and my thoughts would get the best of me and I would just stop and just put it away. I ended up going to YouTube and I watched commencement speeches from Jim Carrey, Hugh Grant, Oprah Winfrey, Steven Spielberg, and a dozen others. Long story short, I was inspired and motivated. So let us begin. Happiness is a choice. Choose it. Success is undefined. Define it. Life is a gift. Appreciate it. My name is Henry Edward Frank, Palin Spagat to my family. That is the Great Hawk. And I am the son of Valerie Toohey, AWOC. AWOC, in English, the closest translation is, may they rest in peace. And my father, Ricky Frank. I am the grandson of Ada Mae Frank, AWOC, Barney Frank, AWOC, Catherine Pearson, AWOC, and Dale Sanderson, AWOC. I am an enrolled member of the Yurok tribe, and I am also Kashaya Pomo, Karuk, Talawa, Dutch, and Spanish. I am a human being. I had a life sentence, and I was paroled after 20 years. The first decade of my incarceration, I was comfortable with dying in prison. That is what they told me during my intake evaluation, and I believed them. Before signing up for college, workshops, and self-help groups, I was J80928, Frank J28, or inmate Frank. By design of incarceration, my incarcerators took my identity, my past, with the exception of my crimes, of course, my culture, and my voice. I was constantly reminded that I could not be trusted. I was not good enough to be in society, and once a criminal, always a criminal. I did not care because I was going to die in prison anyway. I did not trust myself, respect myself, or love myself. I did not see a future except for dying in prison. I did not fully understand myself, my place in the community, and I did not know my place in existence. I did not know how to be anything else until one day that changed. I was at one of the graduations, right here, while I was incarcerated. The commencement speaker was a former lifer who had paroled less than a year ago. I was sitting in the audience and thought to myself, he had a life sentence. I have a life sentence. he did not die in prison. Maybe I don't have to die in prison. And then I let it go as quickly as it came because another thought came to me. More of a mantra at the time. Hope for the best, expect the worst. A few months later, I was heading down to the sweat grounds with one of my elders, Arliss, a walk. As we were descending down the staircase to the lower yard, just before the wall becomes your only view, Arliss turns to me and says, "What do you think about those deer?" I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. So I was like, "What, on PBS last night?" Nah, I missed it. The elder tone became irritated and replies, "What the hell is wrong with you? The goddamn deer right there on the ridge," as he pointed beyond the walls of San Quentin. "Stop," he says. "Stop and look out there, goddammit. Look at those deer. They are a message from the spirits to let us know that they're sharing their medicine with us." I said, "Arliss, I have no reason to look outside of those walls. I do not live out there. That is not my life. This is my life." As I started to continue to walk down the steps, I hear him saying, "For an intelligent bastard, you are sure one stupid mother F. You take all these college classes, workshops, and groups. Hell, you even teach some of them now, and here you are, still one dumb mother F." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, R?" He grabs me by the arm, still on the stairs, and he says, "Stop, Henry, God damn it, stop. Look at me." I stop and I look at him, and he says to me, "Henry, if you can't ever see yourself outside of these walls, you'll never make it outside of these effing walls." And I was like, "Whatever, bro." And we continued down the stairs. As I laid in the bunk that night, replaying that conversation, I had a flashback from when I was in county jail. My father sent me a book by Napoleon Hill, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude, and I read that book about 12 times. Here it is, 11 years later, but I still remember reading, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, he can achieve." I realized happiness is a choice. Seeing positivity is a choice. And we get to choose and are responsible for who we become. That is when my life path began to shift from being comfortable with dying in prison to I refuse to die in prison. So what? So what have I learned? I learned that the systematic dehumanization, oppression, and emotional numbing of incarceration has been historically the foundational practice of these institutions. I lived it. I survived it. But I was free, spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually, way before I paroled. The system did not and cannot take away my humanity, my identity, my traditions, my potential, or my voice without my permission. What I mean by that is I accepted the narrative that is fostered and reinforced by this carceral environment until I didn't. My humanity never left me. I ignored it. My identity was not erased. I did not embrace it. I was severed from my traditional dances and practices by my own actions. But then the bear dance, the brush dance, the pomo style of dancing came to me inside of these walls, and I danced them all. My voice was silenced because I believed I did not have anything to say, and if I did speak, it would fall on deaf ears. So why even say something in the first place? Did the education of the Prison University Project play a role in my metamorphosis? Absolutely. But so did my cognitive behavioral classes, self-help groups, my creativity, and my spirituality. My friendships, repairing relationships, and having a positive identity of myself all work together to reclaim my responsibility for who I become. So, if you are not aware, you are not your CDCR number. You have a name, you have a past, and you have a future. You are not a criminal. You are a human being that committed a crime and were convicted of that crime. You are not an inmate. You are a person who is experiencing incarceration. You are not worthless. You have an enormous amount of potential. You are not rotting in prison if you are using your time while incarcerated to discover your self-worth, empowering yourself, and empowering others around you. You are not forgotten. Jody created an entire accredited college for you to receive a higher education. Look at all the volunteers that come into San Quentin on a weekly basis because you and your mental health matters to them. I care about you. I pray for you. And I want you to have the opportunity to experience freedom with your new wisdom, your new knowledge, and understanding. I suggest to appreciate everything you have in your life. I'm not just talking about the joyful, loving, celebratory, empowering, and miraculous moments. Be grateful for the ordinary, the challenging, the difficult, the painful, and sad moments. For these moments can be a blessing in disguise that can lead to a life you can't even imagine. I paroled 13 years ago, and I'm living a life that I literally could not ever imagine during my incarceration. I'm married to an intelligent, strong, beautiful, and compassionate woman, Diana Frank. We'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. To be transparent, I just realized recently that I have surpassed any of my dream futures. And this came about when I was having lunch with my father. Our wives were there too, and we were just chit-chatting. Pops asked, "Son, I have a question. And if you don't want to answer it or you can't answer it, that's okay. Are you willing to hear my question?" Of course, Pops. Are you living the life you dreamed of? He asked. And I really didn't think about it up until that point. And I didn't know what level or where he was coming from. So I'm like, let me think about it. And we continued to talk about our adventures and ate our meal. And then finally I said, okay, I'm ready to answer your question. I have to say no. I am living a life I could never, ever have dreamed of living until that life presented itself and I accepted it. I was there when my mom was on her deathbed and I was holding her hand during her last breath. I was there when my father had a stroke. My wife and I drove 3 hours to get to him and drive him to the nearest hospital. And as we were driving down the mountain believing that these were our last moments together, instead of praying for more time, I offered up gratefulness to the Creator for blessing me with the time I had been able to spend with him up to this point. I offered up songs of healing and praying and appreciation. I am honored to dance my bear hide, sing, and drum for the people. I get to work for the William James Association as their communication director and as a visual teaching artist at CMF in Vacaville. I get to create art on so many levels, and my art has taken me all over the United States for exhibitions, for panels, lectures, And just for inspiration, I received 2 grants from the Art for Justice Fund. The first grant is to fund my J80928, a human experience exhibit, which we completed this year and ready for installation in 2027. The second grant was a collaboration grant, where I was the lead artist for the Steamroller print project and collaborated with 7 other artists. 4 Prison Arts Project alumni, Nicola Bucci, Gary Harrell, Isaiah Daniels, and Felix Lucero, and 3 teaching artists, Beth Thielen, Katia McCulloch, and Art Hazelwood. Along with the William James Association, the Diablo Valley College, the Art and Social Justice Departments, and several other collaborators. I get to lobby in Sacramento supporting bills that will create a better quality of life for you, the people who are experiencing incarceration, and/or support the work of the members of community-based organizations like the William James Association. Don't focus on being perfect. Focus on showing up and being present. And showing up and being present the next day, and then the next day, and so on. Daily ordinary decisions and actions create character, create connections, creates a positive self-image, and creates purpose. One moment or decision does not define your life. I repeat that. One moment or decision does not define your life. Your life is defined by how you choose to respond to diversity, to challenges, to heartache, disappointment, fear, and failure. Do not see these obstacles as signs to turn back, to quit, or to blame others. Find the lesson that you need to level up and prepare for the next chapter in your life. I'm going to offer up this appreciation song. I ask you. And it's not just the graduates, but everybody in this room, no matter what color you're wearing, no matter where you traveled from this morning. I ask you, be in the moment. Cherish this moment. And remember this moment. I ask you to close your eyes and take a deep breath with me and exhale. Appreciate everything you have had and not had in your life up to this point. Appreciate the people that have been in your life and for those who have not been in your life. Most importantly, appreciate yourself, your spirit, and your life. What cloud, all my relations. Congratulations for your accomplishments, your dedication, thank you. Congratulations for your accomplishments, for your dedication and your sacrifices to achieve your AA degree. I commend your commitment for educating yourself, for empowering yourself, and for investing in yourself. And I ask the entire room to join me. Please repeat after me. Happiness is a choice.
Happiness is a choice.
I choose it.
I choose it.
Success is undefined.
Success is undefined.
I will define it.
I will define it.
Life is a gift.
Life is a gift.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
I will always choose to be the best version of myself. Thank you. Walk cloud.